We are here in your house sports podcast here on YouTube. It's your boy Vassos.
I'm Fat Sam.
Manny's out interviewing for the opening out there in Wisconsin. It's between him and Dave Aranda.
Then
So
David read it. Yeah,
I think it's just because of the close vicinity uh, Manny's resume.
yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, if you look at Mandy's resume, it's up there, man.
Hmm.
It's it's a 10. You know.
And in Wisconsin, they're looking for whatever they can find.
Yeah,
They're like Waco, Texas. Oh, you know Dave. Okay, come on.
yeah. Exactly, man. Exactly how it is, man. But hopefully he gets the job and turns around the program.
Exactly. Bring us in to scout and all that other good stuff.
Yeah.
Have do a couple live shows from the coach's office and all that.
Yeah, but I don't know, man. That was crazy. What's their record, anyways?
I think they're like 1-3. I think
Oh wow.
one and four. I think something like that. They're pretty bad. Let's see. They play. Who did they play this week? It was
That's
Ohio.
what
No,
I'm.
what Ohio
They
State was
play.
last week.
They play Illinois.
Illinois. That's right.
They're,
Okay,
they're
and they
two and
lost
yeah, they're 2-3.
2-3. Yeah, that's not a typical Wisconsin season, especially the past 5 to 7 years,
Exactly.
and they
Yeah.
don't get blown out by Ohio State as bad as they did last week.
Nah, they don't, man. But what's it? They're 2-3, 0-2 in conference right now.
Yeah, that offense just looks pathetic.
Yep.
Normally
Man,
they can run the football. Normally they can't even do that.
man, college football is just weird this year. It it's just everything that you didn't expect to happen is happening.
Exactly. I
It's
mean,
just
the teams you thought would be good are not that good, and the teams you expected to be trash are really good.
yeah, yes, yeah. And so I don't know, man.
I think in our
Hey,
preseason predictions, I think the whole our bottom is all at the top now.
man,
I think
for real.
the only one that's on the top, that's still on top, that we said would be on top is Oklahoma State, but
Mm-hmm.
everybody else is
Yeah,
the middle to bottom.
yeah. Dude, it's nuts right now. It is nuts. Big. We'll talk about Big Back Kansas later, but
Yeah,
to see them on top, man,
yeah.
I'm legit happy for them because I know how they feel. Yeah, but
I mean,
that's hurt,
who would have had them being the second highest ranking Big 12 team?
man. Nobody,
Nobody except
nobody.
Kansas.
Yeah, except but the thing, man, it's crazy because the turnaround was sudden.
Yeah,
It's like what last year. Is this their head coach's second year? I think it is.
yes, yeah. And this is his
Second.
second year.
I think last year they won what 3 games,
Yeah,
three,
3 or
three or
4
four
games.
games, and this year they're 5-0. It's sudden. It's just
Hmm.
like this is crazy.
It's like what happened, and then same with Kansas State.
Yeah,
It must be something in the water up there in Kansas
something, man.
that Adrian Martinez wasn't getting over there in Nebraska. He just started drinking Kansas water, and all of a sudden he started playing better. So
I don't know, man. I don't know, but they're all killing it though right now.
yeah, it's a pretty crazy week. I mean, we start out. We'll go ahead and start with Thursday's game. BYU, getting a little bit of a scare there
Hmm.
for about at least the first half to three-fourths of that game before they finally put Utah State away. Which that's good that BYU pulled away at the end, but that's still kind of ooh
Yeah, yeah,
that hurts.
most definitely, man. I mean, and of course I root for BYU because they beat Baylor, and I was like, man, that needs to be a good loss.
Yeah,
So someone's like, man, you better win out, man. But now, yeah, man. I mean, I think I think what it is too, man. Like, and I forget who I brought this up before. I was watching something where, man, these I guess you call them not so good teams are getting better now because of the transfer portal. portal,
hmm
and the money that these kids are getting too, like colleges giving them money. So it's like, oh yeah, so the playing field is getting more even.
Yeah.
And
NIL, that's kind of the benefit of it. Not only are the kids
yeah,
getting paid, but now the talent's dispersing. You don't see the monopoly
hmm
of they're going to all SEC schools or they're going to all Big Ten schools. It's everyone's
yeah,
kind of going everywhere.
yes, yeah. So like like with the BYU game, it doesn't. I would no longer be surprised when the team is sneaking up, because it's like it is what it is now,
Yeah.
you know. But I mean, it was a I don't know if you call this a good win for BYU, but it's a win.
They just need to keep
Um,
winning, especially makes them coming into the Big 12 look like
yeah,
we're gaining, we're gaining on the and not
yeah,
losing.
yeah, for sure.
But yeah, they
Yeah.
put away Utah State 38-26 on Thursday
hmm
night. Then on Friday, uh, we'll start with this one. This is not top 25, but dude, what has happened to Houston? Dana Holgerson, man, he's over there looking like he's about ready to lose his, you know what?
Dude, lose his ever loving mind.
Yeah,
What conference they in? USA? No,
the American. Yeah,
American Conference. Let me find that game real quick. Yeah, man. Dude, I I don't know. They got a fifth year quarterback that should be the leader, and Hogerson was just
not having
yeah
it.
letting him have it, man.
hmm
Because it's like when they're driving down the field, the kid couldn't get the play in, and so they had to waste a timeout.
Yeah,
And then I was just like, oh my god, man, this is not good because for the past 3 4 years, Houston has been pretty good, been up there.
yeah. And it's usually they're like A&M where they'll start out really hot and then they just kind of fall towards the end of the season.
Yep.
And they just this year they hadn't even gotten on their streak. They hadn't hit that roll yet. It's down.
Big time, man.
And I mean,
Um,
he may not even be around when they come back to the Big 12 at this rate.
um,
I mean, if they don't make a bowl game, I could see them be like, you know what, this was fun, but yeah, we need somebody else, especially if we're going to the Big 12.
but I mean, you got Nebraska open now, Wisconsin.
Georgia
What's
Tech.
Georgia Tech now?
Yeah.
I mean, Wisconsin and Nebraska is going to get the two best coaches available.
Yeah.
Houston may get somebody, um, just because they're going to the Big 12 conference if they let him go. But I don't I don't see them firing him this year. Um, just because past couple years have been great.
Mhm.
Oh, not great. I should say good. Um, have been good, and so hopefully, um, this is just a down year for them because we need them to be good.
Yeah.
we we need them to be good, man.
Yeah.
And so
Because it's them, BYU, Cincinnati, and who else?
Cincinnati,
South Florida, or no, UCF?
UCF, yeah, yeah.
And I haven't even checked to see how good UCF has been this year.
What is Cincinnati? Eight.
They're 4-1.
Arkansas.
I think they're 4-1.
Let's see. Yeah, they're 4-1. What's crazy that they're not even ranked.
Yeah. I mean, they don't have. And I don't know if that's just because they haven't played any uh, ranked team.
Yeah, I mean their only loss against Arkansas, number 19,
Yeah. And that was a
30.
close game.
Yeah, 31-24, and then you got Keenshaw State, Miami, Ohio, Indiana, Tulsa. Um, the next game is South Florida, SMU, UCF, Navy. Yeah, they're not playing no ranked teams at all.
Yeah.
None.
And that's going to, I mean, that hurts them as far as getting ranked unless all these other teams start falling.
Yeah.
which could very well happen the way at this rate, the way the season's going.
Yes, for sure, man.
But
Because, but yeah, man. I mean, I don't know. I don't see Houston letting go over their coach right now, unless they know they could get somebody.
yeah, yeah, that's true. Unless they go get a RG3 out of the booth and convince him to put on a headset.
That or you do got what's his name? The guy, man, Patterson. They get Gary Patterson, isn't it?
Yeah, lure him, lure him away
Yeah.
from
From
Texas.
Texas. Yeah.
I
He
mean,
moved back in the Big 12.
at this point, he's this point he's just doing it for the money.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
So I mean, I wouldn't blame him for taking the money and the job. You know what I mean? So it's a Big 12 job. You know he's going to get paid a bunch. He's going to have complete control.
Yeah.
So they cut him a
Yep.
lot of slack.
Oh
Then
yeah.
we had UCLA putting a
Beat him.
swerve on old Washington there.
Yep. That's true. UCLA is 5-0. Man, but they still didn't even have a sellout crowd. Like they're having a hard time getting people in that stadium.
Well, it's a Friday night in LA. What are you going to do? You're going to go to a football game, or you going to go party up, or you're going to go to a high school game? Most people aren't going to go to a college football game on a Friday night.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, but when if they're one of the high school games in the area, there's more packed than that stadium.
It's a
They
good
got an
point.
issue. Who's the head coach there?
Chip Kelly.
Jim Chip Kelly. That's what it is. Yeah, but
I
yeah,
mean, he
man. I mean,
kind of
that's
is a douche. So
yeah, yeah. So I mean, they got that win. That was a good win for them. I mean, Washington number 15, but Washington's always ranked like that, and they end up falling off towards the end.
yeah, they
Yeah,
just
so
hang around, and then when they play some real competition, they show they're not at that level.
yeah, yeah, for sure. So
They're
I
good in
mean,
the Pac-12, but outside of that,
yeah, I mean, is UCLA going to end up keeping this up though? That's the thing.
that's the other thing. Especially once they play USC, once they play Oregon
I
and
mean,
all
because
that.
they got Utah next week,
That'll be another test for
and you got Oregon after that.
them.
Stanford, Arizona State, Arizona, USC, and Cal.
So they could win every single one of those games except for those big three.
Hmm. Yeah. Yep. So,
Oh, and I forgot Colorado fired their coach as well.
oh, did they?
Yeah, they fired
I
him.
must have missed that.
I think was it last night or was it Friday night that they fired him? Let's see, did they play this week? I'm trying to remember if I
I don't
remember
think
seeing
they did.
Colorado playing this week. But yeah, they fired him either last night or Friday night. They fired him because I remember seeing the notification from ESPN on my phone that they finally decided to fire him.
Hmm. Because what are they in the Big Ten?
No, but they're in the Pac-12.
Are they in the Pac-12?
Yeah, Colorado's in the Pac-12.
Oh man, I didn't even realize that.
They had that one good year where they made the championship game, and then after that,
Yeah. Oh, see,
really,
yeah, they lost to Arizona
hmm,
43-20.
yeah, that'll get you fired. That'll get you fired.
Yeah, because what is Arizona 3-2 in the conference? Oh man, Colorado's 0-5, man.
Yeah, they're winless. Yeah,
Oh man,
to think you go from such a great team, just a couple of years ago, to now your team is winless.
that is crazy. 0-5,
Yeah,
man.
so
Yeah, I mean,
Pac-12, man, it's falling apart.
it is, man. You're not gonna have a whole lot of teams left. I mean, because when is USC and UCLA going?
Uh, I don't.
Is it in 2 years?
It's pretty soon. It's coming up pretty quick.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I would like to see the two Arizona teams though in the Big 12.
Would make sense. It's that
If they,
Southwest region and stuff like that, so it would make sense
yeah,
for them to
that
come
you,
over here.
but the Utah one, heck, even the BYU one, I'm just like,
Yeah, it's like we're just going to go across the globe. Is that what we're doing now? We're not
it,
even bothering to draw districts up anymore. We're just, yeah, you
yeah.
come play over here. We'll come play over there.
Well, my thing is the time. I mean, because when Baylor played BYU, well, I was up to 1:30 in the morning watching that game.
Yeah.
I'm just like, oh my god.
I'm trying to think. Are they on Mountain Time or are they on West Coast time or Pacific time?
I think Mountain.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think they are Mountain Time, which is weird. It's
Yeah,
yeah,
but yeah, I don't know, but I don't know, man. I think the Colorado find their coach. You're gonna have a lot of job openings, man. But who's going? Like I said, it's all going to go back to Nebraska and Wisconsin as the big jobs right now.
yeah. They're the ones that are going to get the big fishes first.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. Everybody else is going to get the leftovers.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, and then going on to Saturday, you had number one Georgia surviving Missouri.
Man, Missouri gave
Missouri,
that away.
that
Ah,
was that hurt watching. I
yeah,
really feel for that team because you could tell they were playing their hearts out, but they gassed out.
yeah. But the thing is Georgia didn't get moved down.
No, they did.
Oh, did they get moved down?
They got moved down. They dropped. They didn't drop as far as I thought they should have dropped.
Uh,
We'll go into the rankings a little bit later, but yeah, they dropped. They definitely did drop. I expected them to. I would have been shocked if they didn't drop them.
okay. Then I must have looked at it wrong. Then I thought that I saw them in there.
Yeah, no, that this barely surviving really hurt them because I mean they came on late, and I mean in the fourth quarter late in the fourth quarter they finally came on, but yeah, it was not a pretty game for Georgia. Their last two games really have not been that great for them.
Yeah, it's one of those things where they're like, well, if we dropped Alabama for a close game against Texas,
Right, and then
we have to drop Georgia.
Georgia just had two in a row. So,
Yeah,
so
no, man, that's just. But I think too, man, you got to look at when it comes to close games like that with a team that is number one like Georgia, they're always going to have the advantage of depth,
mhm,
and they're fresher guys and more talented guys too.
exactly,
And so when it comes to games like that, man, it's tough to beat them in the trenches when it's that close.
exactly. You got them big boys, just that. It's like you're battling against them all game, and all of a sudden there comes like three more that come in that are fresh, and it's like, damn, we
Yeah.
got one. I got one guy behind me.
Yep.
So,
Yeah.
but
But
they survived.
hmm
Uh, a pretty good crowd there in Missouri that night. And then Alabama, cruises on Arkansas.
yeah,
Bryce Young getting hurt.
man, they said it was a shoulder sprain?
I think
Did I
that's what
read
they
that?
said. I missed exactly what the diagnosis was, but I know it had something to do with his shoulder.
Mm. Yeah.
But I mean, he had his helmet on, so I'm assuming it was one of those. Are like, okay, if we really need you to go back in the game, you can do it. But right now, we're just not going to put you back in.
Right.
That backup dude, he actually looked pretty good. He was fast. He was really fast. I was watching
um.
him run. I was like, dude. I was like, where's this dude been?
Yeah. Well, I mean, Alabama's always going to restock on
Yeah.
quarterbacks and offensive line.
Hmm.
They're always going to have that, man. I mean, but again, it's Arkansas is always starts off hot, man, and
Hmm.
it just bam, it just comes crashing down. I mean, but if you look at the division they're in the SEC, they're in a tough division.
Yeah.
If they were part of the other division, I mean the best, I mean the biggest games would be against what Kentucky and Georgia,
Kentucky, Georgia, maybe Florida.
maybe Florida. But
depending on which Florida team you get.
exactly, exactly. And so, I mean, they're in a tough division. So,
Yeah,
uh, I mean, it's Alabama,
yeah.
and
They took care of business as they should have.
yes, yeah.
So then Ohio State cruises past Rutgers. Ohio State just continuing to look dominant.
Hmm.
Michigan rolls past Iowa, 27-14. Clemson nips NC State by 10. They win 30-20. Clemson, another just going
Yeah,
about their business.
just going up, just taking care of business, man. It doesn't matter how ugly their losses or their wins are.
They're winning.
They're winning. They're taking care of business. That's all that matters, man.
And I saw Dabo he called timeout just to scream at the refs. They
Yeah,
missed, what was it that they missed? It was like a face mask or targeting or something. I forget what it was they missed. But I mean, it was a pretty blatant penalty that they missed. And so he calls timeout and just is screaming and yelling at the ref, and the side judge is kind of like, come on back, and
yeah.
he start walking and spin around and go after the ref, start yelling at the referee again. It's like, man, this dude lost his mind. He's over there looking at the TV countdown, going, all right, I got this much time left to yell at you, and I'm gonna get every second in.
That's funny, man. That's Dabo though.
Yeah,
That's Dabo, man. But yeah, they're taking care of business, man.
yeah.
I mean, ain't ain't much you could do.
UCLA, I'm sorry, USC takes
Hmm.
care of Arizona State. Herm Edwardless Arizona State. USC hanging around the top 10. So
Yeah,
see if they stay there, if they keep winning. Kentucky goes down to Ole Miss,
yes,
and
yeah.
Ole Miss takes care of them. Kentucky just shooting themselves in the foot late in the game. Last three drives, turning the ball over
Hmm.
in
Yeah.
the red zone, nonetheless.
Ex- exactly. In the red zone, man. And so, I mean, those man, it's crazy because Kentucky, man, too. They're in that little limbo, man, where it's just up and down, up and down. But
They get
Ole
hot,
Miss,
and then they play a team that's really good, and
yeah, I think Ole Miss is going to surprise some people, man.
yeah,
Uh, I mean, last year when they played, I mean, honestly, last year the only time I saw them was in the Sugar Bowl. But the game, they can definitely uh, be in a playoff hunt because next week they got Vanderbilt.
yeah.
This is Ole Miss. Ole Miss got Vanderbilt. They got Auburn. They got LSU, who's not looking hot. You got A&M. A&M, man, they're just trash. But then, but if they went out, man, if they went out all the way up to Alabama, then or A&M, they got Alabama that next week, which could be a great game
Those
because
generally are some pretty good games when they play
yeah,
Alabama.
yeah. But then they got Arkansas, Mississippi State, and so they could definitely be a team, that only loses one game.
Yeah.
Um, and so hopefully they do it, man. It'll be nice to see Ole Miss up there. Um,
Yeah.
yeah.
And shout out to Mississippi State for taking care of or for taking care of A&M. Thank you. Putting in old Darth Helmet there after
I,
what's his Mike, was it Mike Johnson? Is that the kid's name?
yeah, yeah,
Got hurt his hand and whatnot. But thank you, Mike Leach.
dude. I was so happy watching that game.
I was too.
So happy, man, because I cannot stand Jimbo Fisher, man. I don't know what it is.
He just has one of those faces you just want to punch him.
For real, man. And then I think too, what makes it worse is that the Aggies, it's just A&M,
Like you said,
But
it's the fans. It's not so much the players themselves; it's the fans.
yeah, yep, yep. And I love to see it, man. Um, just because how much money they spent on their players, number one recruiting class. Nick Saban kind of calls him out, then he goes after Nick Saban, and then it's just to see them fall. It's gonna sound terrible, but it's great to see. It's
Yeah.
great to see it. To see the team fall like that. Like, man, you got the number one recruiting class, the
Yeah.
highest paid recruiting
Recruiting
class,
class. Yeah.
and Mississippi State beats him. Love it, love
Love it. Love seeing it.
it. And it
But
wasn't, just like they barely won. I mean, they whooped up on them.
yeah. And I mean, the score was what it was, but I still don't think the score reflected how badly the game really was in Mississippi State's favor,
Yep.
especially towards the end. I mean, till about halftime, it was a pretty neck and neck game.
Hmm.
But then once about midway through the third quarter, it was just Mississippi State was just rolling.
Yeah, and I don't know what it is, but I feel like when I watch A&M play, they look so lost out there. Like,
Yeah, I can see that.
yeah, like Jimbo Fisher is just kind of like, what's going on? The quarterback doesn't, when the space helmet doesn't know what's going on, you know, and so they just look lost out there. So I don't know what it is, but
Yeah.
I'm happy to see it though. I'm here for it.
Yes, we are definitely here for that. I skipped around. I forgot A&M
Yeah,
was ranked. I forgot they were ranked. I was thinking they
yeah.
weren't, but yeah. So we'll get to the Big 12 game, or a couple of the Big 12 games.
Hmm.
We'll get back to those. Penn State takes care of business there. Ugly win against Northwestern. Good for them. Utah blows out Oregon State. Oregon hands it to Stanford. Minnesota loses to Purdue. Like there's Purdue showing up right on schedule.
Yeah, on
On
schedule,
schedule,
man. Messing up people's hopes and dreams.
right? Then you had Wake Forest eking by Florida State. Pitt handling business. Actually, no, Pitt getting handed the
Handle,
business
yeah.
by Georgia Tech. Uh, and then the final top 25 game was another Big 12 game, which we'll get to that one as well. But any other games of note? I'm trying to see if there were any other. Oh, did you see that Liberty catch, by the way?
No, I did not. I heard
Oh my
about it
God,
though.
dude, that was a sick catch. Dude just basically was running the route. Ball's coming from this way. He just goes, reaches up, grabs it this way, and pulls it in with his backhand.
Man.
Let's
Yeah,
see if I.
I've been seeing it. I was trying to look for who they played. You know?
I don't know. It was another no name team
Oh, Old Dominion.
basketball school.
Hey, Liberty 4-1, man.
John Liberty's just. I think that win against Baylor really kind of propelled them into that national spotlight as far as
I
a team you
mean,
don't want to take lightly.
yeah. I mean, they they've been sticking around. The baseball
Yeah,
team's real good.
yeah.
Yeah, they're a good baseball team.
So,
But yeah,
but yeah, I think that was. Oh, and then LSU squeaks by Auburn. The only other game of note. And did you know that Florida played today?
no,
They stomped Eastern Washington 52-17.
I did not know that.
I didn't either. I didn't either. But yeah, so that's the top 25 as of last week. This week, the rankings coming out as of this morning, or well, Sunday morning. This goes up Mondays at 4 p.m. Central Time on YouTube. Uh, so as of now, the top 25, it's Bama at 1, Georgia at 2. Let's see, it's Ohio State, then Michigan, Clemson, USC. So the 3 through 6 stay the same. Oklahoma State moved up to 7. Tennessee stayed at 8. Ole Miss jumped up to number 9.
Wow.
Penn State moved up 1 to 10. Utah moved up 1 to 11. Oregon moved up as well to 12. Then it's Kentucky, NC State, Wake Forest, BYU, TCU
Wow.
jumped up to 17. I was thinking they were higher. I didn't think they were as high as Kansas, but
Yeah.
I looked at that backwards. But it's TCU, then UCLA, and then it's Kansas at 19. Kansas State at 20. Washington, Syracuse, Mississippi State, Cincinnati, and LSU rounding out the top 25. So I really thought that Ohio State should have, if not been number one, then should have been number two. So I kind of disagree with the rankings
Yeah.
on that one.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it should be Ohio State, Georgia, and Bama. Maybe. I mean, that first three can really go any way.
Yeah, I would put it Ohio State, Bama, and then Georgia down to three. Or if you had Bama at one and Ohio State at two, I wouldn't argue with that either. But I don't think Ohio State has not looked weak at all this year.
Yeah.
So that's why I don't understand why they're not getting any consideration to move up to two or to one or two.
Yeah.
Like they've
And
blown everybody out and with ease.
yeah, and I think USC should be over Clemson.
Yeah, I think that could just be the fact that Clemson has been that consistent throughout the past what
Yeah.
7 8 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's probably one of those just benefit of the doubts. So and then Michigan just because it's Michigan.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, Michigan's always gonna be around, but I mean that could be potentially be your playoff teams right there if everything keeps on going according to plan.
Yeah, yeah.
So
So do you want to save yours for last, or do you want to get it out the way first with the Big
uh,
12?
let's get it out the way.
All right, let's go ahead and rip the Band-Aid off.
Is it?
Oklahoma State taking on Baylor in Waco, upsetting the Bears. I say upset just because I did not expect this performance by Oklahoma State, especially here. Now, if we would have been playing them in Stillwater, oh yeah, I would have expected this, but no, not here.
Yeah. No, man. I think I didn't realize how much our D backs were going to suffer this year. I mean, you had Petrie leave, Woods leave, um, who was Bernard. So of course you had some key players leave, but man, our defensive backs were just getting burnt, man. They were getting burnt, and but I do believe that we played good enough to hang in there with them. But man, freaking Holmes had three catches, three big catches,
Drops.
drops.
Two of
I
them, I
mean,
think, turned into interceptions, right?
no,
Or was it just the
uh,
one?
fourth, no, just the one,
Just the one.
just the one. Yeah, because the one was that was the first drive. They were driving down the field. Shapen threw a bullseye to him, and it hits off his chest. And they're in the red. I mean, if he would have caught that, they're in the red zone. Oh yeah, well yeah, red zone like 10 at the 10 yard line, or maybe even closer.
Hmm.
Drops that one. Holmes beats his guy. Shapen throws a dime into his arms, and it just goes straight through his arms. And then the third one, Shapen throws it. He's running. Shapen throws it, but he misses it, and that's the interception.
Yeah, that's the one that just careened off his hands. And
Yeah, yeah, man. And I'm just like, oh my god. Like I love the fact that they were throwing the ball around. I think this game, the, the safety. Why the heck do you do a wide toss in the end zone? Run it up the freaking middle.
or if you're gonna run to the outside, do it in shotgun. Don't do it. Don't do a toss.
No, right. I mean, it's just and because man, the offensive line and Reese had a good game. Was it Reese had 17 carries, 85 yards? I mean, they were creating holes for him. So I think if they would have just ran it up the middle twice, I mean, you at least got it at least at least a first down or close to it on the third down.
Yeah.
Um, and so it was just, I think overall Shapen played well. I think the offensive line played well. I think it was just our D backs and our receiver.
Yeah. I see. I don't think that. I think they played well as for a quarterback. I think Shaven played well, but I think the moments when he really, really suffered, I think really, really hurt.
Mhm.
Like the lapses he had it really, really just were. It was just bad timing when he decided not to play well.
Yeah,
I don't.
yeah.
Well, I say decided like he's like, okay, I'm not going to play good here. But I
Well,
mean,
and see,
when it occurred, yeah, it just
yeah,
inopportune time. I mean, you're trying to stay in the game, trying to get the momentum back, and then boom.
yeah. Well, of course, what hurt is that them one running it back in the second half, start of the second half,
Hmm.
because Baylor is a second half team.
Yeah,
So I was expecting them to come back, but that that right there, that drive, I was like, oh yeah, yeah. That was, I already knew that was it. But man, Oklahoma State came to play.
they came with
Oklahoma,
a chip on their shoulder.
man, they did, and they played well.
Yeah,
They played
Spencer
well.
Sanders got lucky with a lot of passes that he just
Hmm.
threw 50-50 balls. He got really lucky.
Yeah,
Some of those should have been intercepted, but if it wasn't for his receivers going and fighting for the ball, uh, yeah, I think this could be a different story.
yeah. No, most definitely. And but man, their defense came to play. The receivers were awesome. I mean, so
They just
uh,
were on the field too long. Defense was just on the field way too long.
yeah, yeah. And that man, they were doing fast pace too,
Yeah,
and I don't think our guys were ready for that.
yeah. I think Oklahoma State out Baylor to Baylor, So
Yeah, yeah,
I mean,
yep,
it
yep.
was a good game, especially in the
It
first
was.
half. It was really tight, really low scoring. Um, but like you said, just the later and later it got, it's just that defense wore
Yeah,
down, and then the drops, the turnover, the
yeah.
and Oklahoma State didn't beat themselves. Penalties at
Hmm.
inopportune times for Baylor also really did not help. It's kind of been the theme in the two losses Baylor has this year is just penalties
Penalty. Yeah,
at the worst time.
yeah, yeah. And so I think, man, they'll probably end up losing 4 games. Um, they'll get to a bowl game, of course, but um, I think I didn't realize how much young players they have. To be honest with you, um, they got a young core in the backfield, so
Yeah,
or in the defense on the defensive side. So, but overall, man, it sucks because they're not in the top 25 anymore. I mean, I think they weren't top 25 last year either, starting out.
starting out, yeah,
Yeah, but to fall out of the top 25, I think towards the end of the season they'll be all right. They'll be back number 20 or so.
yeah.
But it is what it is. I think they're off next week, I believe.
Let's
Uh,
see.
yeah,
Yeah,
they're
they're
off
off next week.
next week. They got West Virginia and Morgantown, which I mean, I think this is a great week to be off.
Right.
Like I really do think this is a great week to be off because you go to Morgantown, then you got Kansas on your homecoming.
Yeah.
That's not good.
Which used to be something you wanted. Now it's like, ugh.
Now, I mean, honestly, in the Big 12, you don't want nobody on your homecoming. Dude, the Big 12, we beating each other up, man.
Mhm.
Like it's ridiculous how even the Big 12 is.
Right now we're like, hey Nebraska, do you want to come back so we can beat up on you?
Nebraska, Colorado, somebody.
Yeah, right. But yeah, dude, I think it's a good way. You go in with a chip on your shoulder into your bye, so that way when you come out, especially going to a tough place to play in Morgantown,
Yes.
that's I think you need to have that extra edge. So,
Yeah. It's a good spot for a buy, that's for sure.
oh yeah, yeah, definitely. Um, And then moving on, I'll just go ahead. I'll go ahead and get this one out the way. So Texas beats West Virginia, which I was hoping would happen, but I really wasn't expecting it to get kind of this out of hand the way it did.
Mm-hmm.
38-20. I really don't think the game really wasn't that close, but Texas played off a lot towards the end of the game. Defense was just
Yeah.
kind of playing back. Uh, man, I'll tell you what. When we run the ball, we're great. We're really good when we can run the ball and when we stay to running the ball. But when we start trying to, when Sarkisian gets in that mood where he wants to throw every other play or throw every play, that's where I think he ruins the momentum and the rhythm that we have. But he
Yeah.
stuck to the run enough. And Robinson's man,
Yeah.
that dude is good.
Yeah. What was it? He has 101 yards.
101 yards. Yeah,
I mean,
he had quite a few catches out of the backfield as well.
yeah. I mean,
Uh,
Worthy had 120 yards too,
and he threw a touchdown.
and he threw a touchdown.
Dude did it all except run it in. But yeah, man, Worthy that guy's going to go top. I mean, I'd be shocked if he doesn't declare next year.
Hmm. Yeah.
I can see him maybe sticking around for one more year, play with Arch, and then get the hell out and go get money, go get paid. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, I was a game we needed to win. Um, West Virginia always plays us tough. I don't know what it is about West Virginia and coming to Texas. They just seem to play, whether it's us or Baylor, always seem to play us tough.
Hmm.
No matter how good they are, how bad they always play us tough. But we didn't hurt ourselves. The defense played really, really well, a lot better than they did last week. Last week they played horrible, especially in the second half last week against Tech. But this week they pulled it. They pulled it off. They came through.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
go ahead.
Texas is going to end up being all right. I mean, as much as I hate to say it, I do believe they will only have at least maybe one loss. Because what do they have? Two losses?
Two losses, Bama
Two.
and Tech.
Yeah. So I think the only loss really, well, honestly, probably none. They should be undefeated if what's his name was in there? Earwings.
Yours, yeah.
Yeah, Ewers. Because that's the quarterback y'all need.
That's the
Uh,
guy. Yeah, because
yeah,
Card, he ain't
yeah,
it. He's
yeah,
a good filler. He's a good fill-in, but he's not going to be the long-term answer. If you want to go
yes,
deep in the season, have a chance at making the playoff, he's not the guy.
right, right.
He doesn't have the arm and the athletic ability to do it. Now he can fill in, like I said, and drive the bus. He
Hmm.
can make. If you're relying on him to make the throw, the big throw, it ain't going to happen.
Yeah,
But if you're not expecting him or telling him, hey, you have to go out and you have to make this throw with no expectations, the dude can do it. But when you say, hey, it's 3rd and 15, go get us first down.
yeah.
It's like,
Exactly.
well, shit, all right, I'll try, coach.
Yeah. Nah, he's definitely not the quarterback, but I mean, he's doing enough. The defense is doing enough to keep him.
Right, right. The defense is making plays when they need to make plays,
Hmm.
creating a
Yeah,
turnover here and there, or getting a sack when it matters. Big thing against like just with Tech, they just kept going for it. So and they just
yeah.
wore us out.
No, dude, I forget how many times. I think they went for it like 9 times,
It's like
fourth
eight or
down.
nine times, and they got it all but once, I think.
Yeah, it's like, shoo.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
yeah, Texas beats West Virginia 38-20. Um, let's talk about the fall of Oklahoma. Thank you, Adrian. Thank you, Adrian Martinez.
yeah. That's great, to be honest with you. But the only thing I don't like is that man, they're bashing. Um, what's his name? The head
Venables.
coach. Yeah, they're bashing him big time. Basically calling him a fraud and all that stuff. I'm like, man, it's this dude's first year. Like
He doesn't have his
Yeah,
team.
I was expecting it to happen. Uh, for them not to be that great.
Yeah,
Um, but of course, when you have high standards, and then they hype you up, they hype up the head coach, um, and the team is not playing up to standard, then yeah, you're gonna get bashed, man. But TCU came to
yeah.
play.
Max Duggan. That's what I was thinking. Why did I was thinking last
Yeah,
week. I'm thinking last week.
yeah. Nah,
But yeah,
TC,
Max Duggan. Yeah,
yeah, TCU came to play.
that they did.
Yeah, and so
We were texting. Is TCU that good, or is just Oklahoma that bad right now?
yeah, exactly, exactly. So I don't know. We shall see, man, because TCU goes to Lawrence next week with
Mm-hmm.
college game day there.
Game day.
Yeah, and
That's going to be exciting.
yeah, man, and I'm not gonna lie, man. I'm becoming a Kansas fan uh, because I know their pain, and I'm just like,
It's that
oh
feel
man,
good
yeah,
story.
yeah, man, it's awesome,
Yeah,
it's awesome.
but yeah, it was nice to see Oklahoma be on the other side of one of those beatdowns.
Yes,
It's a
yeah,
humbling loss. But I will say this: they did not roll over and give up. I
yeah,
will give them credit for that. They kept fighting in vain, but they kept fighting. But TCU downs them 55-24 in a game that really was over at halftime. Really,
yeah, yeah.
the game was really over at
What
halftime.
was it? 30? Was it 31 something at halftime?
It was like 31 to like 14, I think, or
14.
31 to or like 28 to 10 or something. It was something pretty low like that. So,
Yeah,
but yeah, they they put the beat down on them. Then we had Kansas State going to Lubbock and pulling out the win, 9-point win, 37-28 over the mighty Red Raiders, coming fresh off an
yeah,
overtime win. So
yeah. Nah, I mean,
Martinez carrying over that magic he had in Oklahoma, took it, brought it down across the border to Lubbock, and
nah, man, Kansas State, like you said earlier, man, there's something in that water right now.
hmm
That Kansas and Kansas State are just,
them boys just,
man, they came to play this year, that's for sure.
well, yep, they came to play, and man, they're clicking on all cylinders.
hmm Yeah, but Kansas State has always been that team, man. Even with Snyder there, always been that team that was always in it. Like
hmm
no matter what, they were always in it. So,
well disciplined, uh,
hmm
really fundamentally sound.
yeah,
So
yep, yeah,
it's starting to look like the old Big 12 a little bit in terms
yeah.
of they're just running the ball,
hmm
just running it down people's throats.
Yeah,
It's coming.
just got
Martinez is getting the ball.
and Kansas is known for that. Kansas State has always been known for that, man. Like
Yeah.
they're gonna run the ball, but you just can't freaking stop it.
hmm
It
They
is
just
it's
they just line up and stop. Just say stop us. You know what we're
hmm
doing, but you ain't gonna stop it.
exactly
We'll tell you
exactly.
we're gonna run to the right.
That's it. Let's
Yeah.
go. Nothing fancy.
No, nothing
Nothing
fancy, nothing
fancy.
nothing pretty, but just smash mouth football and good versus good.
That's it.
So they continue their hot streak. Um, and then the big one of the week, Kansas, big bad Kansas defeats Iowa State 14-11 in a very entertaining game.
Yeah. Yep.
Uh, that was a hard hitting game. That one, both those defenses came to play, and they beat the crap out of each other.
Yeah. No. Yeah. But Kansas, man, they're just on this hot streak, man.
They're
They're
playing good
just
football.
they're playing good football, man. They're just on the roll, and I don't know if this is the declining of Iowa State. I don't think it is. I
I think
do.
it's just they've hit their peak. I just don't.
Yeah.
I don't think that.
Well, I just think again it all goes back to how level the Big 12 is right now.
Yeah, that too.
I mean, it's a level playing field on the Big 12. Um, so I think having these teams come in next year is definitely going to help that out
Yeah,
because I think they're going to have divisions. They should have divisions, right?
yeah.
And the two top two, so that will help out some. But man, the Big 12 is just beating up on each other, man.
It's kind
They're
of like,
just
yeah, we're beating up on each other, and
yeah, because
that's
on
great for competition wise, for when you beat each
yeah,
other in rankings. But at the
but
same time, that hurts us into the
in the
playoff discussion.
playoffs, yes, yes, because you got all these other, you got the Power Five conferences and even the Group of Five that have divisions within the conference,
Yeah,
and so they're not constantly beating up on each other. You can pick out who you know the SEC is going to be. It's going to be Bama and Georgia,
yeah.
right? I mean, Bama,
Georgia has the easier path to get there than Bama because I mean that's a pretty tough division to
yeah,
play in that Bama plays in. But
yeah,
like I said, Georgia has the easier path of the two. They
hmm
know they got to play each other. So
yeah, and so I mean, you always got everywhere in America, and you got Memphis or no
Cincinnati, yeah,
Houston,
Memphis.
maybe or Memphis. You can kind of pick them out, but in the Big 12, man, you can't you can't pick nobody out, man. It's just like I don't know who's gonna win. Like if that doesn't just show that is probably the best conference in football, yeah, I don't know what does.
And if it's not the best, it's definitely the toughest.
Yeah. Oh man,
It's
big
definitely the
time.
toughest because there's no Vanderbilt in this
No,
conference
no,
anymore.
heck, no, it's not.
you know,
It's a tough
Kansas is
conference.
done being the doormat at least for this season. They're done being the
Hmm
doormat.
Yeah. So it's tough, man. I like it. It's tough to win here, and it's just like, shoot, it might be that every team's going to at least have three losses, you know, and it's just like, well, we all like beat up holding trophies. Just
Yeah,
we're here, guys. Like, I think that's just what makes the conference so great because it's you, like, of course, with Baylor, you could kind of you used to be able to pick. Oh yeah, they got this game. This is a no. Not anymore, man. Not
yeah.
anymore. This is just like I don't know. I don't even know if we're gonna win.
The way
It's like
this season's going, it's just coin toss.
that's it. Just like don't know.
We don't know. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's definitely one of the better seasons in quite a while.
Oh yeah, most definitely. It's entertaining.
Oh
Very
yeah,
entertaining.
very entertaining.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I'm very excited to see where this goes. And
Yeah.
the other bad thing about that, besides beating up on each other, it drives ticket prices up to these games.
Yep. Exactly, man. Exactly. But man, you can take a lot of these teams and put them against Big Ten teams or SEC teams, and we're going to be in it.
Yeah,
We're not that type of conference. That like, nah, you can tell that this. I guess this conference is the blue collar conference.
yeah.
You,
We
you
we've taken that Big 12 doesn't play defense personally,
hmm
and there's been
Yes.
a more of a focus on defense in the
Yep.
conference. You know,
Exactly.
just just across the board.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. So it's tough, man, but we're all in it. That's for sure.
Oh, definitely. So, moving on to next week, the Big 12 games. There's only four Big 12 games. Is
Oh wow.
the other teams are on bye. So, let's start with Kansas and Iowa State. Who you got?
Kansas State and
Kansas State
Iowa,
and Iowa State. Yeah, my bad.
Kansas State, Iowa State. I got Kansas State
Yeah, I got Kansas State as well.
because
Uh,
they're playing in Manhattan.
no, they're playing in Ames.
Oh wow.
It's a night
Yeah,
game, 6:30.
yeah. I got Kansas State.
Yeah, I got Kansas State. They seem to play better at night anyway.
Yeah.
Then we've got Oklahoma State playing against Texas Tech in Stillwater.
Oklahoma State.
Yeah, I got Oklahoma State as well. Then we've got Red River. I think this is the first time in, I can't even remember the last time that there has been a Red River shootout or Red River rivalry game, and neither team be ranked.
That's unheard of.
That is like I said. Normally, it's one of the two. Only one of the two teams are ranked, or sometimes
Yeah,
both of them are ranked. But it's, I can't remember it. At least maybe in our lifetime, I can't remember both teams
yeah,
not being ranked.
yeah. I think you're right, man. Like, this may be the first time, to be honest with you.
Yeah. So I mean, so
That both of
Texas
them.
is playing Oklahoma, of course. Red River rivalry in the Cotton Bowl in Dallas during the Texas State Fair. So I called it at the beginning of this year. I said Texas was going to beat Oklahoma this year, and I'm sticking by that.
I got Texas. Texas winning this one too.
Yeah, especially the way after last year ended with Caleb Williams coming in and leading the miracle.
Yeah.
I think that is gonna be what Sarkeesian is like. You remember this last year? We were riding high,
Mm-hmm.
and then this happened.
Yep.
Now that guy's not there, but a lot of those other players are still there. So you guys remember how bad that felt last year? We ain't gonna do that again.
Yeah, they're going to definitely play with a chip on their shoulder,
He's
and that defense. I think that Texas defense is going to be too much for them.
yeah, he's over there yelling at him like in Rocky Four with his trainer yelling at him. He said, "You see, you cut him. He's not a machine. He's a man."
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
So,
But yeah, it's going to be
but
good. It's going to be a good
it
game.
is. And then college game day is in Lawrence for number 17 TCU versus number 19 Kansas in a huge, huge Big 12 game, which could decide who goes to the Big 12 championship. We never
Yeah,
know.
yep. Man, again, man, I'm excited for Kansas. I think Kansas pulls it out, man. I
Yeah,
think they go 6-0.
I'm with you. I think they got a better overall team. Uh, I think this is where TCU kind of hits their down. They're kind of their slump that they
Yeah,
usually hit.
yeah,
So we'll see. We'll see Big Bad Kansas continue its undefeated streak and become bowl eligible for the first time since 2009.
what?
I think that was the last time they made a bowl game was when they went to the Orange Bowl.
Wow.
So yeah, it's been a while. It's been quite a while. It's been over a decade that Kansas has been relevant in football.
Yeah, that is nuts, man. That is nuts. But I hope they do it though, man. I'm rooting for them. That's for
Me
sure.
too. That's going to be a wild crowd. I mean, we know how wild they get during basketball season, but it's
Hmm.
nice to see that happen in a football environment. So
Yes, yes, it is.
it's definitely refreshing. I don't want people to think we're just jumping on the bandwagon, but damn, I guess we're jumping on the bandwagon.
Yeah, because we've always laughed and made fun of them. Big bad Kansas, big bad Kansas, and now we're like big bad Kansas, like they're legit, man.
Yeah, it's gonna be exciting. So I mean, like you
Yeah,
said, it's definitely one of those. It's one of those worth getting up early for. It's an 11 a.m. kickoff, which is kind of the only crappy thing about it. They should be
yeah,
like 2 o'clock, but
exactly. Yeah,
whatever. So, and I think that's on FS1 too, which is weird. Go back,
really. I
go
thought it
back and
was
double check
Fox.
that. Nope, they're on FS1. I don't know who Fox. Fox, I think, is going Michigan and Indiana.
Oh,
Yeah, because Texas and Oklahoma's on ABC, and
wow.
so
What time's the
Kansas and
Texas
TCU,
Oklahoma game?
same time.
Oh, that sucks for Kansas, man.
Yeah, sounds like that really sucks that they got put. That's what I said. They got to put. If they had gotten put in the 2 o'clock time slot, that'd been perfect.
Perfect.
Or even better, put them in the nightcap.
Yeah, and I mean, it is scary. I mean, it could be subject to change. So hopefully, it does change for them.
It could, but I think that'd be a really late decision because like I said, they've already got the time announced. So
Yeah,
I just,
I would love for it to get changed so it doesn't compete with Texas and Oklahoma.
yeah, because that's going to be a fun game to watch. I'd
Yeah.
hate to have to be having to pick and choose.
Hmm.
Unless Texas just starts blowing Oklahoma out. That's probably the only time I change the channel.
Right, right.
So,
Yeah.
but yeah. Other than that, I think the only other I don't think there's any ranked versus ranked games other than oh no, UCLA and Utah and Tennessee and LSU are the only other ranked versus ranked games. Bama or A&M goes to Bama, so roll tide.
Roll Tide.
But yeah, I think that's going to do it for this week. So real quick, don't want to end on a down note, but thoughts and prayers go out to those affected here in McGregor.
Uh,
The tragedy that happened last week. So
yeah.
thoughts go out to that. Shout out to HEB, especially the one there in Woodway.
Oh, yeah, I saw that. I saw that. They spelled out McGregor.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think they made some donations and things like that to the GoFundMe for the people whose identities had already been announced or been revealed and whatnot. So
Yeah.
shout out to HEB for stepping up there.
Yeah. T's and P's, man. T's and P's.
But yeah, be sure to like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. That is a terrible transition, but you can tell I don't normally do this. That's what we have Manny for. But he's in the interview process, so hopefully he'll be here for
Hopefully he
the
gets a
NFL
job.
show. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, go and like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, In Your House Sports. Go follow us on Facebook and Instagram. On Instagram, it's inyourhouse.sports. Facebook, In Your House Sports. If you have any inquiries, want to sponsor the show, want to collaborate with the show, come on the show, all that good stuff, send all that over to inyourhousesport@gmail.com. And yeah, that's going to do it for this week. This week's college football wrap up. Been your boy Vasos.
I'm Fat Sam.
See y'all later.
Peace.